Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Shabbat shalom lechem.
Shabbat shalom lechem.
It's a good thing to see so many people here. Familiar faces that we haven't seen in a while. Welcome back home. Let's open up with "Of Thy Wondrous Works We Will Tell" on page 10. Heavens declare it, the glory is high. The earth in its beauty shows honor divine. Our Yahweh Creator, of every day. To thee we lift up our voices, we will sing of He may give all things all thy wondrous works we and when we do we'll cry unto thee, follow in our spirit, thy mercy will see. Thou sendest thy angel to show us the way. To thee we send out the praise and praise. We praise in He may give sing of the He may give all his Nehalel Yah.
Hallelujah.
Nehalel Yah.
Hallelujah.
Nehalel Yah.
Hallelujah.
יהוה אלוהינו, בוראנו גואלנו, יוסרנו, קדושנו, יחיד בעולמו, אמת. גואלנו יהוה צבאות שמו, קדוש ישראל. Yehovah is our creator and our redeemer, our former and our creator. One and only is he in all of his existence. And our redeemer is named Yehovah of hosts. He is the Holy One of Israel. תודה לך אלוהים על כל הבאים לבית התפילה הזה ביום השבת הזה, אלה שבאו מרחוק ומקרוב, אלה שאנחנו ראינו בכל שבוע, אלה שאנחנו לא ראינו בשנים רבות. אנחנו פה להודות לך, כי אתה הוא Eloheinu, what Israel, hu Amenu. We give you thanks for all the familiar and unfamiliar faces, those who come near and far from places down the street and from another state to worship with us today, to come together to say that you are our Elohim, and we are all part of the same people, Israel. We ask that you would be with us as we go into the last few hours of this night and this afternoon, and going into the hours of the night to close out Shabbat. You would also be with those who were with us from breakfast and left in the first service, that they would be touched by the experiences here, those who have visited and who have come back from a long time away from us have been touched as well, and who are still with us this afternoon. Those who come regularly, that we would be lifted up with the presence of friends and family that we've seen online, but we get to see in the flesh here. And that the worship that we give you and the words of our mouth and the meditations of our heart would be acceptable before you. Blessed be your name, now and forevermore. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Chaya. As Yehovah lives. Selah. Let us sing the Shema.
O Shema Israel, Yahuwah Eloheinu, Yahuwah Eloheinu, Yahuwah Eloheinu. O Shema Israel, Yahuwah Eloheinu, Eloheinu Yahuwah Echad.
Please be seated. We have much more to come. Blessed afternoon. Now we get four of our brothers and sisters opportunity to be able to come before us with their songs and their words of encouragement. For the psalm service, we're going to call for the 79th psalm, the Chorah Nequeva. For the 121st psalm, we're going to call on Bechor Sadiq and Kohen Sadok. 124th psalm, we'll ask Kodanya to come before us for that. And then for the 148th psalm, we'd like Abba Kirby, if he's available, to read for us. So let's start with the 79th psalm, the Chorah Nequeva. She's here. On the fly, if you don't mind reading.
Okay, Ima the fly.
Yes, Ima.
Shalom, Ima.
Shabbat Shalom. Giving all honor and glory and praises to the Holy One of the universe. Thanking Him for all of our lives here today and for allowing us all to be able to be present on this Shabbat day. The 79th Psalm. Oh yeah, the heathens are coming to thine inheritance. They have defiled thy holy temple. They have made Jerusalem into heath.
They have given the bodies of thy servants to be food unto the fowls of the heavens, the flesh of thy holy ones unto the beasts of the earth.
They have shed their blood like water round about Jerusalem with none to bury them.
We have come and taunt to our neighbors, sworn in derision to them that are around us.
How long, O Yah, wilt thou be angry forever? How long will thy jealousy burn like fire?
Pour out thy wrath upon the nations that know thee not, and upon the kingdoms that call not upon thy name.
For they have devoured Yaakov and laid waste his habitation.
Remember not against us the iniquities of our forefathers. Let thy compassion speedily come to meet us, for we are brought very low.
Help us, O Yah, of our salvation, for the sake of the glory of thy name, and deliver us and forgive our sins for thy name's sake.
Wherefore should the nations say, where is their power? Let the avenging of thy servant's blood that is shed be made known among the nations in our sight.
Let the groaning of the prisoner come before thee. According to the greatness of thy power, set free those that are appointed to death.
And render unto our neighbors sevenfold into their bosom their reproach wherewith they have reproached thee, O Yah.
So we that are thy people, and the flock of thy pasture, will give thee thanks forever. We will tell of thy praise to all generations.
Hallelujah.
Once again, just giving all praises and honor and glory to Yah, the King of the universe, thanking Him for just the opportunity to stand before Him and give Him praises and thanks for all that He continues to do in my life and each and every one of our lives here. So that again, Shabbat Shalom.
Shalom.
121st Psalm will come on before Tzaddik. Amen.
Shabbat Shalom. I lift up mine eyes unto the mountains, from whence shall my help come?
My help cometh from Jehovah, who made heaven and earth.
He will not suffer that fits me, he that keepeth thee will not slumber.
Behold, he that keepeth Israel shall neither slumber nor sleep.
Behold is thy keeper, behold is the shade on thy right hand.
The sun shall not smite thee by day, nor the moon by night.
Behold shall keep thee from all evil, who shall keep thy soul.
Jehovah shall guard thy going out, and thy coming in, from this time forth and forever.
I just want to say to thee, for allowing me to be alive this day, allowing me to see all of you,
Amen.
allow us to get through school and still be here. So we are thankful for
And now for the 124th Psalm for Diane.
Amen.
Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Get together. Hallelujah. The song of ascent of David. If it had not been Yehovah who was for us, let Yisrael now say.
If it had not been Jehovah who was for us, when men rose up against us,
Then they had swallowed us up alive when their wrath was kindled against us.
then the waters had overwhelmed us, the stream had gone over our soul.
Then the proud waters had gone over our souls.
Blessed be Jehovah, who has not given us as a prey to their teeth.
Our soul is escaped as a bird out of the snare of the fowlers. The snare is broken, and we are escaped.
Our help is in the name of Jehovah, who made heaven and earth.
Amen.
Just want to
thank the Most High for my life and the lives for all of you all, and for my baby boys, and for food, shelter, clothing, love, happiness, peace, blessings, all things, and ask that He will continue to watch over us and protect us from all these sicknesses that are spreading in the world. Toraya for bringing me back to praise with you guys. I've been traveling, I feel like forever. So it feels good to come back and praise Most High's name with you all. My spirit was very high today. And it's a beautiful thing just to see you all, hear your voices and everything. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
So, for the 140th Psalm, we'll call on Aften Boaz. Amen.
It's for the camera, my lord. Go to Arabaka.
Tato.
148, hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Praise you, Jehovah. Praise you, Jehovah from the heavens. Praise him, all his heights.
Praise Him, all angels. Praise Him, all His hosts.
Praise the sun and moon. Praise the stars, all these stars in light.
Praise Him, ye heavens of heavens, and ye waters that are above the heavens.
Let them praise the name of Jehovah, for he commanded and they are happy.
He has also established them forever and ever. He has made a decree which shall not be transgressed.
Praise Jehovah from the earth. You see monsters and all these deep.
Fire and hail, snow and vapor, stormy wind fulfilling His word.
Mountains and all hills, fruit trees and all seasons.
Beasts and all cattle, creeping things and winged fowl.
Kings of the earth, all the people, princes and judges of the earth.
Both young men and maidens, old men and children.
Let them praise the name of
Hallelujah.
His glory is above the heavens and the earth.
And He hath lifted up a horn for His people, a praise for all His holy ones, even for the children of Israel, a people near unto Him. Hallelujah.
With all glory to their Creator, for all things and everything, the lessons and the blessings. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Thank everyone who came before us to recite these psalms, and at this time we rise to be welcome playing Shit Me Out to lead us in worship. We do Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Shabbat Shalom Aleichem. While I have you standing, let's sing a song before we go into our segments for the afternoon. Let us sing the song, Baruch Hashem. Let us bless the name of Yahuwah. Let us lift up our voices, each and every one of us, to give thanks unto Yah for all that He has done. He has given us bread, He's given us water, He's given us food beyond bread and water as well, correct? So let us sing and bless His name. Baruch Hashem, Shel Yahuwah. Baruch Hashem, Shel Yahuwah. Baruch Hashem, Shel Yahuwah. Baruch Hashem, Shel Yahuwah.
Israel. Baruch Hashem, El Yahovah. Baruch Hashem, Shem Yahovah. Baruch Hashem, Shel Yahovah. When I wake up in the morning, I got to praise God's name. When I wake up in the morning, I teach my kids to do the same. Oh, I'm great, God's so great, I've got to praise His name. I'm the King of Kings. Oh, I'm King, oh, I'm King, there is no God like Jehovah our King. Oh, there is none. There is no God. No, like Jehovah our King. There is no God. There is no God like Jehovah our King. Got my own solo now.
Come on,
community anthem.
Praise Jehovah.
Praise Jehovah. Hallelujah. All you young brothers, come on, let me hear your voices. All you young daughters, come on. Praise Jehovah. Praise Jehovah. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Oh, praise Jehovah. Praise Jehovah. Hallelujah. 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 Praise Jehovah. Praise Jehovah. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Oh, praise Jehovah. Come on. Praise Jehovah. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Praise Jehovah. Praise Jehovah. Hallelujah. Come on now. Bring it down. Hallelujah. This is our community anthem. When we first came to Charlotte, this is our community anthem. So let's sing it up now. Hallelujah. This man, Kahila. Praise Jehovah. Praise Jehovah. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Oh, praise Jehovah. Praise Jehovah. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Oh, praise Jehovah. Praise Jehovah. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Oh, praise Jehovah. Praise Jehovah. Hallelujah. 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 Praise Jehovah. Praise Jehovah. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Oh, praise Jehovah. Praise Jehovah. Bring it down. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Oh, praise Jehovah. Praise Jehovah. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Praise Jehovah. Praise Jehovah. Hallelujah. 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 Please be seated. Give thanks unto the Holy One of Israel. We almost say hallelujah. So it's a workout, right, Abba? Yeah, Malkiel on that second base, he had to relieve a brother, but that's all right. We're going to talk about that later. It's okay. Like a dead headlights, boy. He was like, blessed be the name of Yah. We all have those moments, right? Listen, man, I had my moments where he said, shake me out, and I froze, boy. I didn't know what to do. But you get better after that. Tell me, tell you the truth, boy. You get better, because you ain't going to get frozen like that ever again. Blessed be the name of Yah. At this time, we have a segment that we want to do. And is she here? Koda Quivia? Okay. Let's welcome Koda Quivia. She's going to give us. She's going to give us a health wash. Yes. With this coronavirus going on, she's in the health industry. She's a nurse. So she's going to teach us how to prevent getting this particular virus. To show you how our people are, let me show you the ignorance of our people. No lie. So you had a couple of our people say we're not supposed to be drinking Corona beer. Because you'll get coronavirus. Can you imagine? That's what our people. Let us welcome her. Corona. Hallelujah.
Yes. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
All right. So, the coronavirus. That seems to be something that's dropping everybody. But it's okay, because you'll only get it if you drink way too many Coronas. So, you're fine if you're not drinking. I'm joking. In all seriousness, though. How many, by show of hands, how many of you ever had a cold? Well, congratulations, you already have the coronavirus. And I'm serious. So there's a few misconceptions about coronavirus. The new one that's out right now, it is a form of coronavirus. It's not, so let me put this in a simpler term. I'm Amy to my 7 children. And I'm the coronavirus. But Kaviva's SARS, Nimsaya's MERS, what you call it? Yeah, another one. I forget what it's called.
Anthrax.
She's MERS, yes, MERS. And Yafia might be COVID-19, which is the novel, new coronavirus. So, in other words, they're all coronaviruses. This is not something that's new, and that's why they got everybody all at the edge of their seats, because everybody thinks that it's something brand new, and they don't know what to do. No, they know exactly what to do. The reason why they're calling it novel coronavirus is because it is a new strain of the coronavirus. It's also known as COVID-19. You might see it referred to as that. Some people call it, I believe it was SARS-2. The reason why they were calling it SARS-2, and they didn't release that information, because it is the same type, not exactly the same, but the same type of coronavirus that caused the SARS outbreak in 2003. The reason why they did not call it the SARS-2 virus is because they didn't want to complete panic all over the globe. They didn't want to do that. So that's why they started calling it the novel coronavirus or COVID-19. So it pretty much is the same as SARS. And you might hear a few people say that, but it is. It is pretty much the same. There's a few different things that might make it just slightly different. Now, don't get yourself scared to sick. Not scared to death, but scared to sick. You can go around, like viruses, the way they work is, they're dangerous, yes, but they live since the beginning of time, just like bacteria and everything else. You have it on your body, on the outside. You have so many things that you are introduced to on a regular basis, but you just don't always get sick, because your body, in all of God's good creation, has been created to handle most things that you're going to encounter on a regular basis. The difference between the viruses, though, the way they work is they're almost like, they're sneaky. What's the word for sneaky, Kane? What's yeah?
What, in Hebrew?
No.
In English?
What was the one? I can't think of the word. My vocabulary.
Oh, sneaky? Yeah. Like wicked? We have
Surreptitious.
Like sneaky.
Surreptitious.
we have wicked. Nefarious.
Nefarious.
That's
Nefarious.
evil. That's like
evil?
wicked. Yes.
Well, viruses
They
are
all
evil
wicked.
too.
They all wicked. Wicked.
But they are sneaky
Yes.
because the way they work is they get into a cell of your body once they get into the cell, they reproduce. But before they do that, they take a piece of that cell, which your body is used to, and they cover it. So that they cover it, or it's called an envelope. So they cover it with the shell that they came with. So they came into this cell of your body, they covered it, basically, they mutate your cells, but they don't take away what's already on the outside. So that's like me, Shakira. I come in and take over, like let's say I'm a spirit and I came into your body. Everyone would see you as Shakira, so they would treat you normally. But they don't know I'm playing stuff on the inside and I'm gonna make you do things. So that's almost how a virus works. It envelopes or it covers the cells of your body. So while it's in your body, it's tagging you, who was normal cell, but now I got you too, and now I got you, and now I got you. Now your whole body's going crazy because of all of these viruses, all these little cells. So again, not completely difficult. No, well, it's kind of difficult. Yes, it is. I'm not even gonna, play it down how serious the virus itself is. However, it's not something that you can't get over. This is gonna be one big thing for right now. Again, just like they did back when Ebola was a big thing, which again is another virus. It's only as dangerous as they're making it seem on that level. Like I said, yes, viruses are dangerous, most so for people who are immunocompromised. If you're already sick and you have things going on, people that are diabetic, people that got liver issues, heart issues, things like that. It doesn't mean that it's going to take you out, no. But it does make it harder for your body to fight these things.
Oh my gosh.
You have a question, okay?
Part of a lot of information as well.
Ain't about
Taking the time to share this with us. Do you have any type of preventative measures that we can do just to kind of keep us
Yes.
Let it get to it. Let it get to it. That's necessary.
So,
what can we do just to...
So one of the things that I did before the Brotherhood went on their retreat, I did send out a message giving y'all some tips and pointers on what to do to protect yourself. One of the things, now a lot of people are like, oh, I'm going to wear a mask, I should wear a mask. It's not necessary. Distance is your best friend. I mean, I don't know how many people get this close when they talking to people,
Right.
but that's too close, way too close. This is a good distance when I'm talking to you.
Exactly.
There's no need for me to be any closer, because if she sneezes or if she coughs, all those little, what you call it, all the bubbles.
Spittles, the spittles.
All the little spittles, yes. So all of this in your face, your skin is your protector. It protects you all over your body. However, there's parts of your body that are just open. Your eyes, your mouth, your nose. These are things that once a small, tiny little germ that you can't even see gets there, then you're susceptible to getting sick. Other things that you can do, keep your hands clean. If you can keep your hands, and that is very hard to do. It really is. Keep those hands washed. Sanitizer, hand wipes, all those kinds of things in between hand washing. But even if you have a hard time doing that, keeping your hands clean, if you can't always get to your sanitizer, your wipes, sink with soap and water, keep them out your face. That is your biggest thing. Keep them out your face. And both men and women, we have other parts on our bodies that are mucous membranes, is what we call those. Wash those hands before touching those areas. So if you need to wash your hands before you use the bathroom and after, definitely, because it just helps you protect yourself. Definitely. There are other things. It's not airborne, meaning if I cough and leave the room, I'm not leaving it behind if I have this virus. No, it's a droplet thing. It's droplet. They're not sure as far as contact precautions yet. So it's not a thing of if I sneezed on this podium, if it's going to still be here when I leave, how long it's going to last on the podium. Not sure, but why not take precautions still? We wiping stuff down. Right. Things like that. Again, being droplet, if I sneeze, sing, cough, anything too close to you and it land in your eye, your nose, your mouth, or any other mucous membrane on you, then you are susceptible and you will likely get sick.
Compromised.
Any other questions? Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Let's say you do have a cough or something like that. Is it smart to go to the hospital? What is the best place to go if I'm feeling sick? Let's say it don't have anything to do with, you know, a cold, a virus, anything like that. If I'm feeling ill, is it smart to go to the hospital?
Your hospitals are the last place you want to go, depending on your symptoms. It really just depends on what's going on with you. If you know you just traveled, and a few days later you start getting the symptoms, which, by the way, fever, cough, shortness of breath. They do have some other symptoms with this particular coronavirus or COVID-19, which could include some GI symptoms, meaning diarrhea, some nausea, things like that. It's so up in the air because if you came into my office, the only thing that would make me possibly quarantine you is the fact that you would say, but I just traveled to Washington State and now you're sick. That's the only difference. Because if you came in and you said, my body aches, I've been coughing, all of this is all congested, I might test you for flu. Completely missed it. So it's, again, they are taking a lot of measures. I know for my company, Novant, they're doing a lot of things and they are about to start doing testing in offices, meaning in the clinics, so that people will avoid going to hospitals. They want you to avoid going to hospitals because you are putting everyone in there at risk. There are people in the hospitals that are there because they're sick. Even if you came into the emergency room, you can guarantee it's going to get on the second floor and the third floor and the fourth floor of the hospital. Even if you didn't see someone on those floors, it's going to happen. So they're trying to avoid people going to hospitals, which makes perfect sense. Because even if you don't have something that's that serious, you just expose yourself going to the hospital. Most people that come in, they get tested for stuff like the flu. They come into the hospital to get tested for flu and leave the hospital with the flu. Meaning, you didn't come in, you probably tested negative for flu, but then a couple of days later, you have the flu. Because you exposed yourself, putting yourself in that position, because people panic, people worry. It's normal, natural human reaction, they do. But your best bet is to go to a doctor's office. But again, I was telling my children, practice attitude. And when I say that, not a bad attitude. If you can't keep your hands out your face, or you have a hard time doing so, practice this. And if my nose or my cheek itch, I'm gonna go like this. Practice this for a little while, at least to get into the habit of not going like this. Keep those hands out your face. Wipe things down as much as possible. Any other questions?
I have a question.
Okay.
Being that they don't have no type of shot for it or nothing like that, so someone that has it, how do they get rid of it? It just wears its way out,
Yes.
you know?
So viruses, again, your body was built to pretty much combat most things that you're going to be exposed to in the air, in the soil, things you eat naturally. Viruses cannot be helped because they're not like the way they work. They can't be killed off that way. Your body has to naturally just help you get over a virus, any virus, whether it's COVID-19, measles, anything, flu virus. Your body just needs that rest, that hydration, everything you can do to keep your body well and healthy.
And if your immune system is compromised, then it'll just take you longer to get rid of it?
It may take you longer to get rid of, that's all. Yes. Yes. If you're immunocompromised, let's say you have something like diabetes. If you're immunocompromised and you have diabetes, make sure you're keeping those blood sugars under control. Eating the right things, doing the right things you need to keep those blood sugars under control while you're sick. Don't change habits. I know it's hard sometimes to do stuff like eat when you feel sick to your stomach, but you want to continue on those same habits. Keep eating, keep drinking. Hydration is so important because once a fever get out of control, you're just going into a whole nother realm of problems. So.
Your car.
Okay. Yeah.
Shabbat shalom. My question is it a man-made virus? I hear it has a patent to it. Is man-made?
That I'm not sure. I don't know about that. I do know it's been a while. It's been around for a long time, but where it come from, I don't know. Oh, I do have to say this. Black people can get the coronavirus.
Thank you.
Let's not believe everything we see in here. Again, like I said, I just said black people can get coronavirus. However, coronavirus
It's not just everybody can get coronavirus. Again, I'm coronavirus. My children are COVID-19, MERS, SARS, and a whole bunch of other things that can cause diseases from the coronavirus. So, I don't know.
Take one to you, Nasia.
Okay, Nasia.
We'll go.
Can you get the germs inside your ear too?
Once your body is invaded with viruses, it can go anywhere where there's fluid. And yes, you get fluids in your ear. So yes, you can. It may not so much transport from, if I have it and I tell you a secret, it may not transport that way. However, if you have it and your body's already invaded with that virus, it can be in the fluid in your ear. The ear is a hard place for it to transport from or get into. But if you have it in your body itself, yeah, your earwax might have it on there.
Oh my gosh.
They say it started in Wuhan, China. But again, like I said, that's where it started to get out of control. I wouldn't necessarily say that's where it started. A little bit more research has been done on that.
It's a distraction from something.
Tyler?
They needed a pandemic.
Tetzaweh
Overdue for a pandemic.
Right.
From my understanding, coronavirus is in Lysol. Can you elaborate on that?
No, it's not in Lysol. It's just one of those. It's one of those germs that Lysol can kill. If you look at a lot of different disinfectants, including Lysol, some bleaches, we have wipes that we use at my job that we wipe down the rooms with at the end of the day and in between patients. On the bottom, it tells you all the different things that the particular disinfectant kills, coronavirus being one of them. That's why it's on the Lysol bottle. Again, just proving that it's not something new, because it's been on the Lysol virus, on the Lysol bottle.
That's all I wanted to elaborate on.
Yeah, no, it's just telling you that that's one of the viruses that Lysol can kill.
Can I just see a show of hands that have questions?
Can you die from coronavirus? Some people have died from having the coronavirus, yes, or the infection. Yes. And the numbers are climbing as far as deaths. A lot of the deaths have been people that, again, were immunocompromised or elderly.
Shabbat Shalom again. Quickly, knowing how important it is for our immune system to be, I guess, as strong, as healthy as it should be to kind of fight off these different diseases or infections that may come our way. What tips do you have for us as individuals to keep our immune system strong enough to kind of fight off these diseases?
Oh goodness, there's so many different herbs and things. Now, for that, I'm gonna have to refer to my sister Shaira, who specializes in a lot of things that cleanse the body, keeps your immune system strong and healthy. So she's a good person if you would like to get more into herbal healing and natural healing and things like that, that you can speak to her. As far as she makes teas and different things. What else do you do, Shaira?
Shalom. If you have any ailments or anything going on, see me first before you take on what I'm saying here, so I can just make sure there's no interactions or anything like that. But one thing you can do is you do want to avoid sugar and carbs and things like that. Those are things that will make your body more susceptible and cause inflammation, and already sugar knocks down your immune system. So those are things that you can consider just in your everyday lifestyle. Just cut back on the sugar. As far as herbs and things that you can find that are easily accessible, elderberry. That's one of the main things that can actually help you fight off the flu, which is also coronavirus, like she was saying. So elderberry. You want to take things that are full of vitamins and minerals. Red raspberry leaf tea. Whole entire family can take that, and that is going to give you, it's going to boost your immune system because it's going to give you what you need. Anything, vitamins, minerals you might be missing, red raspberry leaf tea, that's the way to go for that. You also want to make sure that you, I don't know if you'll be able to find this one, but I have it if you cannot, astragalus root. What? Astragalus root. It's ASTRAGULAS. That, if I would recommend anything, that is the main one you want to get if you cannot get anything else. Astragalus root is good for people who, even cancer patients, when they take the chemo and their, immune system is knocked down and they're susceptible to get sick. We give that to people who have cancer to get their immune system back up. So that will help you tremendously, and that's also safe for the whole entire family. If you have a little baby and you're nursing, you can take it, the baby will get it that way, or I can give you a dosage if you all need that as well.
I just want to add one more thing to that as far as keeping well and keeping healthy. One thing you want to do is keep your gut healthy. A lot of things are within what you eat, what you take in, and so a lot of things hold on to you in those intestines, in that gut, in that stomach. So when you are sick, it's not a bad idea sometimes, and again, you want to talk to your doctor if you're under any type of medications and things like that, but you want to clean out that system, whether it's through enema or something like that. When you are sick, it's a good idea. Get that gut cleaned out.
When did coronavirus start?
Well, it was since 2019 that it started to get out of control. But again, this coronavirus, and I would have to do a little bit more research as far as when it actually started from the very beginning. But it was in 2019 that it started getting to where they were getting more cases than they cared to have.
Can we also drink green tea?
Green tea is good. It's good to have.
We're going to take just a few more hands, all right? Because we have other segments.
Shabbat Shalom. I want to know, the coronavirus, are there people who actually survived and their immune system did fight it off and they're okay?
Okay, there's a lot of people that fought it off. The thing about it is they're telling you what they want you to know as far as just causing this panic, this mass hysteria. They're doing this on purpose. There are a lot of people that had even this COVID-19, this new novel coronavirus, that have survived. They lived, they got over it. And again, with viruses, bacteria, any type of introduction to the body, your body is smart. It creates memory cells. So if it comes around again, it's already going to, before you get that sick, your body's going to fight it off. So yes, there's a lot of people that survived, that been sick and perfectly fine.
Hey, shalom. Shalom. One thing my mother always gave us to build up your immunity system was cod liver oil. It's nasty, but I'm telling you, we never caught cold. You know, perfect attendance in school. And like I said, we always knew she was going to give it to us because there was 4 slices of orange on the table. And you have to take something behind it because cod liver oil will repeat on you. You know, so now, but it's good for your immunity system. It will build up your immunity.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Okay, on the immune system building, what I normally use is like high doses of vitamin C, like 5,000 milligrams. I know people might say it's too much, but I do use a lot of vitamin C. And with the help of I don't get sick. Also, this is a product that you can actually use. It's silver that they actually go through a process with water, distilled water, and it's being sold. You can buy it on Amazon, etc. And you can follow the dosages, etc. It's pink eye, cuts, cancer, they say, diabetes, all of these things. So these are things that people use to boost their immune system.
We got 3 more questions and then we'll end.
If you like cut on somewhere, can you it's like a jump out of there where you could get the coronavirus?
Well, it depends on if you are exposed to someone who has coronavirus or the COVID-19 and that cut or that open area gets any part of their bodily fluids in that cut. Yes, you can.
Shabbat Shalom. question?
No.
Cool.
One question.
You can ask one question, now the other two, get your Shabbat, okay? Can we do that? All right. Hold on.
Okay,
Just gotta move it
first
along.
question.
Only question.
So,
He trying to choose which one.
other sicknesses, can you get the coronavirus?
Yes, sir. It actually puts you at a greater risk for it because your immune system is already weakened when you have already other illnesses.
You have a short question? That was a short
No, that's good.
Give
That's
one more.
Lika and Dia.
You just put in the Are there anything that's open? Can you help, when somebody put, if it gets in there, can you take it back out somehow?
I get what you're saying. If you knew somebody was exposed or somebody had the virus and you were talking and some part of it got in your eye or whatever, yes, you can. You can. There's no guarantee that you still won't get sick, but things like peroxide, half peroxide and half water, but stuff like that to rinse your mouth or eye rinses, saline for your eyes, things like that. It can help. It can help big time, yes. That's a good question.
This is the last one.
Shalom, once again, I think this is the last question, Coach Shea said. Is it okay for us to eat out? Let's say like Golden Corral. If the food is exposed, like, pretty much,
a buffet.
Is it safe to eat food from here? And also, by the way, you're gorgeous.
Yeah. Powerful, powerful.
Now, I would advise that, try your best. It's best to eat home anyway for so many other reasons. Forget the coronavirus, there's so many other things. And I know it's not always that, easy to just not eat out. But if you're in a place, and it's the crowds and the things that the viruses can live on. It's mostly the crowds, though, that you're in danger with these viruses and these things that you can spray because of the coughing, the sneezing, the touching, things like that. If you go to somewhere, like let's say Golden Corral where they have a buffet, most of that stuff is hot. A lot of times it's going to kill the germs. It's not that part you have to worry about. It's not the food itself. It's the utensils that you picked up. It's the things that you touched on the way, the plate that might not be very clean, things like that. That this stuff do still live on. So yeah, you put your food on there, but your plate might have been contaminated. Your fork might have been contaminated. So many different things that you're exposed to. It's not so much the food that's the problem, but taking a risk. You just go.
God had the last question.
I think it was on the news, but the news were talking about having caution with your orders from Amazon and stuff. Do you recommend caution with orders, especially from China?
Because they're not showing like contact time of things like, let's say they have a factory and you did order something and it came from China and someone was exposed, they coughing as they're packing your stuff up and they put it right in the box. There is no guarantee that you will not get that from picking that up and then not wiping it down or whatever. So again, if you ordering things and it's coming to your house, wipe it down, get a Lysol wipe, get a Clorox wipe it down, wash your hands, all that. Do indeed, yes.
Yeah. I have a question. Shabbat Shalom. This is for everyone. What is the proper way that a person should cough or sneeze if they have to in public? What is the proper way to do?
So they say don't use your hand. You're not supposed to do this. You're supposed to cough into your arm, into your sleeve. Even if you could do this, one of these numbers. Here's the thing about the arm and the sleeve. Even if you cough or sneeze on the arm of your sleeve, and I then decide, hey, how you doing? And I just pat your arm or your sleeve, I still am getting those germs on me. better to do on the inner part of your own cloth or whatever. That's probably the most protective way to do it. And by doing that, you're protecting not only yourself, but you're protecting other people as well. You know what's on the inside of your clothes. But on the outside, you are exposed. You have all of this stuff. So even again, putting your arm or any part of the outer part of your body's clothes or whatever to your face, that's still dangerous. Because as you was walking, you just rubbed the whole wall and then you sneezed. And you just put all of that right up in your nose, in your mouth. Again, I do have a couple of things. If y'all wanted to, I'm going to put it outside. There was a really good article from National Geographic on the coronavirus. A lot of good information in there. There's also the algorithm that Novant's going to be using, so if anybody felt like they needed to go to the doctor, this is what they're going to do to you, just so you know. And then this is a registered thing from the EPA as far as disinfectants that you can use that will kill this particular virus, the COVID-19 virus. It even goes as far as, because some people like to use natural things in their home, it has that as well. So this is something that you could use if you want to know what items you could use to disinfect your home, your car, things of that nature. Again, y'all already know I'm preaching to the choir by saying your number one defense is the Most High. He's got your back. If you doing the right things, He's going to give you that knowledge that you need. He's going to give you everything that you need. But He also is going to put tools and people and things to help you out along the way. We are each other's support system. Let's not forget that. So yeah, I can give you the information. Shair is going to give you that other information. I mean, we have so many resources. Let's make sure we use those resources. And before I step down, I just want to say one thing. If you ever have to go either to a doctor's office or to a hospital for any condition that you think might be serious, do not go by yourself. Ever. Find somebody, anybody that you trust. Some people are very private, don't want people in your business, that's fine. But don't go anywhere in the healthcare system by yourself, ever.
Why? Why?
Yeah, why? We'll talk more about that after you get out. But I'll tell you why on the side.
Hallelujah. Thank Dora. I was going to say Dora. That's my sister, my babies. Thank you for the Quibia for that health watch. What's the saying, Alicia Dye? That we was taught to us when we were little.
What goes up must come down.
No.
And inform people. Those are wise people. I don't know why I do it to myself. All right. So what I'm going to have you do, because we have another segment. I'm not going to go into a song. So just quickly, everyone rise up. Let that blood flow. Now you may be seated. All right. All right, now let's bring on the word of the week. Let us welcome Coach Kenya and her assistant, all her assistants. All right, let's bring her on. Is Markiel here? Okay.
Shabbat Shalom. All right, so I'm gonna introduce this week's word, and then we'll go into a review. All right. So I'm gonna show you a video. Disclaimer: the people are white. All right. I could not. It's very difficult, and this is just good for all you YouTubers and everything. We need videos that represent us, and we don't have any. So I want you to spend less time focusing on their nationality and more time on the people's disposition, namely soul, okay? Because that's going to have a direct reflection on the word, okay? All right, Tora.
David, are you hurt?
Your father threw his spear at me.
What? This is crazy. Why would you do something like that? This first started long ago, after he defeated King Abel. The Spirit of the Lord left my father,
and a tormenting spirit often fills him with depression and fear.
The spirit is black though. The spirit is black though.
Master, command your servants to seek out a man who is a skillful player on the kinnor. He will play soothing music, and you will soon be well again.
All right, find me someone and bring him here.
That is how I came to the palace.
And whenever the tormenting spirit troubled him, David would play the kinnor. Then Saul would feel better and the tormenting spirit would go away.
Savage beast. All right, so that was just a depiction to let you know how he could flip. He would just be one way, and over time or just in an instant, he would just flip. So a person who has those type of mood swings, we would refer to them as being mercurial. All right, person that's subject to sudden or unpredictable changes of mood or mind. That person is mercurial. And I always remember this word because it reminds me of mercury and how on a thermometer it goes up and down. So that's an easy way to remember mercurial. A person that changes, it's just ridiculous. That's the word for the week, mercurial. All right, so take out your smartphones, and like I said before, if you don't have a smartphone, you can still. Oh, right. I'm sorry, Moriaya. You ready?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
So the Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Okay. So the word that we're going to use in Hebrew, it's going to be two words, mainly because I like to use a reference that we can find in the Tanakh. So the one that's more used more commonly, in modern Hebrew would be the first word, which is Tetzaweh. Okay, and that means move. Tetzaweh is to make one move. So Tetzaweh is somebody who is moving. So the second word is medukta. So the root word for that is you can find that in the Tanakh, and the root word is the dalit and kaf, which means to be low or to be downtrodden. So we can see how that correlates to this word as well. So that's why I chose two words for this one word, so that you can also use it as a reference in our book. Okay?
כן,
Hallelujah.
תודה רבה.
All right, so we're going to put the number up so that you can, the pen, so you can get into the, and as normal, if you don't have a phone, you can still participate, it just won't register on the leaderboard. This is week 6. Our challenge is in about 6 more weeks. Does everybody have the pen? I also want to remind you that we have made this public, so those of you who want to practice and prepare yourself for the challenge, you can just go to Kahoot and you can practice on there. Also, Tavia created a Google Classroom for us. And Tavia, can you tell us how to access that? Oh, Gaalio, can you tell us how to access the Google Classroom?
Shabbat Shalom. If you want to download the app Google Classroom and put in the class code, I'll put it on the board, but my bad. Yeah, you can put in the class code, and the code is M as in Mary, I as in it, 2, K as in carry, 6, F as in frog, and U as in usage.
Uncle.
Usage.
As an uncle.
Drip? Say it again? M as in Mary, I as in it, 2, K as in 8, 6, F as in food, and U as in usage. Torah.
Alright, Toda Giali. So we will add all these Kahoots to the classroom so you can access them that way and practice. Alright, so we're gonna move this slide. Does everybody have the PIN number? Alright. Alright, start signing in. Okay, we're starting.
Start.
Choose the best word to describe this image. She is demanding. All right, 15. 3 more players. Make a decision in 3 more players. 4. She is demanding. Last player making a decision. Good job. Excellent. Demanding. All right. Now PL. Now PL. Get ready. That's not you? All right. Feels guilty. He didn't mean to do it.
What did you put? She said triangle.
He tore up the pillow and now he feels bad. He feels regret.
Let's see how much time we have left.
3 more players. Three more players, make a decision. 2 more. 1 more. Time's up. Good job. Compunction. Still regret. Now PL. Who's JoJo Master? All right, next word. Pinocchio is demonstrating unswerving probity. Probity, remember, think about it. His nose is growing. Think about why his nose grows. Think about what probity means. 2 more people. Alright, good job. Probity means honesty. That was a false statement. Malkiel. Again. Alright, choose the word that best describes this image. He looks kind of dismal and sad to me.
You said that.
2 more people. Make a decision, that last person. Choose one. Good job, Lubrius. Good job. Due to his short lifespan, this melting snowman might be considered fugacious. Is that a true or false statement?
Even though it's fugacious, actually don't fugacious. I haven't been here. You should know. She should know. I do.
2 more players, make a decision. Alright, good job. Good job. Bleeding. Good job. Alright. So fill in the blank. Her observation will help her blank a bad situation.
I told you it was good.
Good job. That was fast. Wonderful. Yes. Oh boy. Excellent. This is working. Good job. Malkiel. All right. Ariel. This man robbed an elderly couple. Which word best describes his action? We talked about Queenie helped y'all with this word earlier. 3 more people. 2, 1. Let's get 100 on this one. Come on. Everybody should get this right. Last person, make a decision. The last person decide. Who's the last person?
They're trying to teach.
How is that possible?
Make a decision. I don't know who that is. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Alright, good job. Not bad. Not bad. Darius, wicked. David's wife Michal felt he was too in his praise to Yah. I did find a black representation. I was excited about it. Yes. She's standing there on the left, not Good job. Going by quickly. Good job. Last person make a decision. Good job, inclusive, unrestrained pleasure. Right. John's the highest climber. Good job. Which character from The Wiz was considered to be pusillanimous? Was it Dorothy, the Tin Man, the Lion, or the Scarecrow? Think about what pusillanimous means. Three more people. One more.
Dorothy? Yeah.
Lack of courage, the Cowardly Lion. Good job. Joe Master was the highest. Good job. She is extremely maladroit. Is that a true or false statement? Going quickly. Good job. Good job. Clumsy. She was not clumsy. Good job. 4 players. Good job. I see you, Yibby. All right, Scar, the villain, was very benevolent. Is that a true or false statement? Is that a true or false statement? Benevolent. He was a villain. Let's see, who is it?
You're not even up
Turn it to tropical. Relax.
There's something for us to look forward to in the final game. I was telling Elio, I said, JoJo Master, we know who that is. He's part of the Brotherhood too, and they were 1 and 2, so we think we got this, man. We got this. All right, so for the few remaining minutes, if I can just get your attention about the show. So we're gonna end off with a video that I want to show you. You know, here in the Hebrew family of Charlotte, Black History is all year round for us, not just 1 month, right? So we try to show you things that happen in our history to our people. So Maury has a video for us, and then perhaps maybe we'll have a discussion afterwards. What are about?
Years ago, the FBI...
Can we get some lights?
5 years ago, the FBI announced that it was reopening more than 100 unsolved murder cases from the civil rights era of the 1950s and 60s. The goal of the Cold Case Initiative was to try and mete out justice in what seemed to be racially motivated killings that were never prosecuted. Not many 50-year-old cold cases ever get solved. Memories fade, evidence is lost, witnesses and suspects die or disappear. But that's not the case in the death of Lewis Allen, a mostly forgotten but historically significant murder that helped bring thousands of white college students to Mississippi in the Freedom Summer of 1964. The murder is still unsolved, but the case has never quite gone away because the chief suspect is very much alive and walking the streets of a town called Liberty.
The story will continue in a moment.
Liberty, Mississippi is a small rural logging town not far from the Louisiana border. The FBI believes that some people here have been keeping a dark secret for nearly 50 years from one of the ugliest periods in the state's history. It was a time when civil rights activists were beaten and arrested, when state and local politics were controlled by all-white citizens' councils, and when people like Lewis Allen were murdered in cold blood without redress.
You keep a photo of Lewis Allen on your desk?
I do.
What?
The case bothers me. I feel like we failed, and not just the FBI, but law enforcement.
Cynthia Dietl is a 15-year veteran of the FBI's Civil Rights Division, and until a few weeks ago was in charge of the Cold Case Initiative. Of the 100 unsolved, racially motivated murders she's been charged with investigating, none has been more promising or frustrating than Lewis Allen's.
Somebody knows something. Some husband came home with bloody clothing. Someone got drunk in a bar and said what he was doing last night. Someone knows something.
But in the early 1960s, people in and around Liberty knew to keep their mouths shut. A violent chapter of the Ku Klux Klan used cross-burnings, abductions, and murder to enforce the doctrine of white supremacy and to intimidate the black population, most of which lived in shacks with no electricity or plumbing and were not allowed to vote. Civil rights leaders like Robert Moses, who came south to help them register, were frequently the target of violence.
Liberty was not a place that I liked to go.
Why?
Because it was a place where you weren't safe if you were doing voter registration work.
It was in Liberty that Moses met Lewis Allen, a rough-hewn World War II veteran who walked proud and was not afraid to stand up for himself. He ran a small timber business, was one of the few blacks in Liberty to own his own land, and always wore a hat, which he considered a sign of self-respect. He was not the type to seek out trouble. Robert Moses says it found him.
He was at the wrong place at the wrong time. He saw something that happened, and he was deeply disturbed and affected by that, and so he had a basic life decision to make.
On September 25th, 1961, Allen was walking past this old cotton gin when he saw something that likely got him killed. Lewis Allen witnessed a powerful state legislator by the name of E.H. Hurst shoot and kill an unarmed black man named Herbert Lee. Allen told his friends and family that he and other eyewitnesses had been pressured into lying about the shooting, into saying that it was self-defense. Later, Allen decided that he needed to tell the truth. One of the people Lewis Allen told it to was Julian Bond, who is trying to register black voters in Mississippi for the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee. He would later become a legendary civil rights leader.
This was not a self-defense action by the state representative. This was out-and-out murder. That's all it was. But Lewis Allen agreed to lie about that.
Why do you think he lied?
He lied because he was in fear of his life. If he had implicated a powerful white man in a murder of a black man, then he was risking his life.
Did you encourage him to tell the truth?
I tried to encourage him to tell the truth, but it was like saying, why don't you volunteer to be killed?
But Allen's wife would later testify that his conscience was clipping him, and he decided to tell FBI agents and the U.S. Commission on Civil Rights what really happened at the cotton gin. This document from FBI files says Allen changed his story and expressed fear that he might be killed. He asked for protection, but none was provided. Almost immediately, word began circulating in Liberty that Lewis Allen was prepared to change his testimony.
He was threatened as a result of the fact that he was going to change his statement, that he did change his statement.
And the FBI was notified of those threats?
Yes.
Did the FBI do anything?
Yes, we referred that to local law enforcement authorities.
It's certainly possible to conclude the local law enforcement people were the ones behind the threats.
There is a theory out there that speaks to that, yes.
In fact, it's been the prevailing theory for some time, although the FBI cannot officially confirm it. There is a 1961 reference in the FBI file to a report that Allen was to be killed and the local sheriff was involved in the plot to kill him. And we found this 1962 letter from Robert Moses to Assistant Attorney General John Doerr alleging the same thing. They're after him in Amite County, it says, and makes reference to a plot by the sheriff and 7 other men.
He was afraid of the sheriff's department.
I think he was, yes.
And I think he was afraid of the Klan. Though they seem to be sort of the same thing in Liberty at this time.
That's right. That's
I'm not sure I can say that.
Julian Bond was less circumspect.
The law enforcement, you were suspected they were members. If you wanted to be a mayor, a city councilman, a county commissioner, the sheriff, you wanted to be in the legislature, you had to have some connection with the Klan.
And in the Amite County Sheriff's Department, the person with the best connection was Deputy Sheriff Daniel Jones. His father was the exalted Cyclops of the local Klan, and Jones himself, according to this FBI document we found, was suspected of being a Klan member. Jones, who's alive and still resides in Liberty, was recently visited by FBI agents who wanted him to take a lie detector test.
What was he like?
Well, mean. Hank Allen was 17 years old when his father was killed, and he remembers Daniel Jones as his main tormentor. He says he watched Jones harass and repeatedly arrest his father on trumped-up charges, and one night beat him outside their home.
And he had handcuffed him, told him he was under arrest. So Dad asked for his hat. Told Dad, no, you can't go get your hat. Dad said, well, my son is on the porch, can he bring me my hat? He drove back and took a flashlight, and he struck my dad and broke his jawbone, handcuffed.
When he got out of jail, Lewis Allen did something that was unheard of for a black man in Mississippi. He went to the FBI and lodged a complaint against Deputy Sheriff Jones and testified before a federal grand jury. The case was thrown out, and the situation in Liberty continued to deteriorate.
They stopped selling Daddy gas in the town. They stopped buying his logs. They just more or less just tried to blackball him.
It got to the point, the harassment and just him not being able to survive in Liberty, that he decided to leave and to go work in another state. And it's the night before he is due to leave that he is killed.
Lewis Allen was ambushed here on a cold night in January 1964 after getting out of his truck to open the cattle gate that led to his property. His son Hank was the one who found him.
I didn't know why he would park the truck in the middle of the driveway and leave it like that. And I climbed up in the truck. The headlights was real dim. And when I went to step down out the truck, I stepped on something. And that's when I stepped on my daddy's hand. He was lying up under the truck.
He was killed with 2 blasts of deer shot to the head. The investigating officer was none other than the newly elected sheriff, Daniel Jones, who Hank said made it clear to the family why his father had been murdered.
He told my mom that if Lewis had just shut his mouth, that he wouldn't be laying there on the ground. He wouldn't be dead.
You think Sheriff Jones did it?
Yes, indeed. By all means. If he didn't do it, he was the entrepreneur of it.
Jones told the newspapers he was unable to find a single clue.
How would you characterize the investigation that Sheriff Jones conducted?
He did not develop any fingerprints, any physical evidence, and he never developed any suspects.
Not a great investigation.
Probably could have done more.
And the same might be said about the FBI at the time. It had limited jurisdiction over civil rights murders and little inclination to investigate them. In fact, it's not clear that anyone investigated Lewis Allen's murder until 1994, when Plater Robinson, an historian at the Southern Institute at Tulane University, began digging into it.
From day one in Liberty, people told me that Daniel Jones and a colored man killed Lewis Allen.
Robinson has spent 17 years combing through archives and tracking down people to interview. One of them was an elderly preacher named Alfred Knox. Knox told Robinson in a 1998 tape-recorded conversation that his son-in-law, Archie Weatherspoon, was with Sheriff Daniel Jones when Allen was murdered.
My son is over with him.
To kill Lewis Allen?
To kill Lewis Allen. He didn't know where he going until he got in the car. And he said, would you pull the trigger? Would you shoot him? I said, no, I'm going to do it. That's what my son-in-law said, I ain't going to shoot him. You come out and kill him, you kill him. So, he killed.
Both Knox and his son-in-law took their stories to the grave, but Plater Robinson says the answer to who killed Lewis Allen can still be found in Liberty.
A lot of people are dead, but there's still a number of significant people still alive.
Like who, besides Sheriff Jones?
Well, Charles Ravencraft, he lives down the road. He's quite healthy.
We found Charles Ravencraft at the Liberty drugstore, presiding over a coffee clutch of old-timers, some of whom were around when Lewis Allen was murdered.
People in this area that just don't do much talking.
For years, Ravencraft was Sergeant-at-Arms of the Mississippi Legislature, and at the time of Lewis Allen's murder, Vice President of the Americans for the Preservation of the White Race in Liberty, a front group for the Ku Klux Klan.
Was it around, Charles?
What was that?
Klan.
Sure. Here.
When are you guys in it?
It wasn't but a Klan. You don't tell everybody what the business was.
Ravencraft indicated that he hadn't lost much sleep over Lewis Allen's murder and told us he had no idea who killed him.
No, I don't. He lived a lot longer than I thought he would live. Kind of probably a little bit over there. I don't think the civil rights had anything to do with it.
Winborne Sullivan wasn't around when Lewis Allen was killed, but he ran the Liberty drugstore for 36 years.
I think there are people who know what happened and who did it, but they're not willing to talk about it, and they won't talk about it. You'll never find out.
They told us they don't see much of former Sheriff Daniel Jones these days. He spends most of his time on his property just off the state highway. We decided to approach him with our cameras concealed on the off chance he might give something up. After waiting for a half an hour on the porch, he rolled up in an all-terrain vehicle with his wife.
My name's Steve Croft. How you doing?
Pleased to meet you.
We're from 60 Minutes in New York. We're down here working on a story on an old case of yours and was wondering if you'd have some time to talk to us about it.
No, sir, I don't believe so.
You don't think so?
No, sir.
The Lewis Allen case?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
He was polite and cordial, said he didn't want to talk, but he kept on talking.
There was some bad blood between you and Lewis, right?
It was not no bad blood between them. Apparently, I'm talking more than I need to, but the truth sometimes has a way of slipping out if you're trying to keep it covered up.
Mm-hmm. Were you in the Klan?
I won't answer that. I'll take the fifth on that.
Jones confirmed that the FBI had already been there asking some of the same questions.
I told you I don't care to discuss it, and you just keep coming to your educated approach.
No, it's not my educated approach. Look, you haven't told me to get off your property. I just asked me one last question.
Okay, be sure it's the last one.
Can you look me in and say you weren't involved in it?
No, sir, I wasn't involved in it.
Well, you know, Sheriff, you could clear this up with a lie detector test.
Well, they don't get cleared up.
The theory that Sheriff Jones killed Lewis Allen has been in the public domain for quite some time. The FBI would be remiss in our duties if we did not pursue that theory.
And it's still just a theory, a circumstantial case based on motive, suspicions, hearsay, and the words of dead people. There's no forensic evidence, no murder weapon, no eyewitnesses, and only one FBI agent working the case part-time.
My name is Cynthia Deedle.
At a town hall meeting in nearby Baton Rouge, Deedle tried to shake out some new leads and enlist journalists, activists, and students to help the FBI solve the murder. But there were some in the audience who still mistrust the FBI and think the Cold Case Initiative is little more than public relations.
There has been nothing did. There has been not one arrest. There has been all kind of investigations made. And I hate to say things like this because the FBI is the only help I got.
Should the FBI be doing more?
Of course they should be doing more. You know, thank God for these people who are doing it. But we can't turn law enforcement over to journalists. We can't turn it over to academics. We can't depend on some guy at Tulane to tell us who's killing people in Mississippi. Come on.
Why are you relying on reporters and professors and people in
people who are not the FBI?
This is the most powerful law enforcement agency in the country. You have subpoena power.
We do. We have resources that we could bring to bear on any case.
Why don't you bring them?
They have been, but I've learned in these cases that a witness, a family member, may be more comfortable talking to you than she would be talking to me.
For Hank Allen, the time to solve his father's killing was 47 years ago. He believes the people who know what happened, black and white, would rather forget it now, and that the wall of silence and the passage of time have granted immunity to those he thinks are responsible.
Here's a guy goes on living his normal life, enjoying life, but they feel as though we're doing something wrong by saying something about the murder. In other words, you should be quiet about that. That was in the past. Well, it's still in my present and in my future. I have to look at this every day.
Wow, that was a good one.
Yeah, I can't really clap for that. I can make another sound for that though.
Show these videos to remind us of the injustices that happen to our people, you know. So just a few more moments. Any questions, concerns, discussion on this particular video that we just watched? Anything? Anyone? We just can't forget about, you know, those who have lost their lives just, you know, for no reason. And it's still happening in this day and age. Okay. Top week guys. Shabbat Shalom.
So that tells me why they're doing it.
Okay. Zabdiel. Torah for that.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Make me want to think about why do people just don't want to talk about it, and they know they can tell somebody and everybody can investigate, but all they do is just shut up. They just keep their mouth shut. And this is the weird thing. You know somebody has been killed, and it's just nobody tells the police, the FBI, whatever, whoever is supposed to investigate. They don't tell them. All they do is, like many people kill other people just for no reason.
Right. Can anyone tell them why is that the case? Especially in that day and time. Aaron? Why do you think that is? Shabbat Shalom. Put the mic to you.
Back before that, it was segregation and racism. White people didn't like black people. Some black people liked white people, but some black people didn't like white people. And it was just on and off, on and off, and on and off. It was in the 1800s they solved it, and in the 1900s they came back, and blah, 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 So it's just all racism and segregation.
And I want to add that the racism still is prevalent today. Okay? We are definitely, keeping our young black men. And the sad part about it is this. Now we're doing it to ourselves. We're killing one another. And I think it was Saw Aaron who said it a few weeks ago. We will go up and down and protest when a white person kills one of our own. And then when one of us kills each other, snitches get stitches, and we don't want to say anything. And he was talking about that because of the Black Lives Matter. Yeah, it should matter when we do it to one another as well. I saw a hand over there. Okay, Kotahila.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
I wanted to answer the question.
Absolutely.
Zabdiel. So the reason why they didn't go to the police at that time is because the police was a lot of the ones who was committing the murder.
Right.
So they couldn't trust the police because the police and the Klan were the same people. The judges were members of the Klan. So by telling, they will be putting their own lives in danger. And now you have a lot of people who, well now, many years later, a lot of the people who know, a lot of the black people who know have passed on.
Right.
And a lot of the white people who know, there's no statute of limitations on murder. So if they tell the truth now, they could still be prosecuted and still go to prison.
Right.
They're also not sorry for what they did.
Right.
So there's no reason for them to come out and tell the truth.
And also, Coach Ahila, that was one of the reasons why he lost his life, because he decided to tell the truth about what he saw, and then he lost his life. So that's what happened. Okay,
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
You're right. A lot of people did not want to speak up at that particular time. But we do have a platform that I would like to share with the group, something that I kind of use to stay informed. It's an app called 5 Stars.
5 Stars?
Yes, 5 Stars. With this particular app, it gives you the ability to reach out to the representatives of the state that you currently live in. Like, for instance, the 2 representatives for the here state. A lot of our need men, but I think it's very important to bring forth the awareness and to speak out when these injustices are happening. It's Tom Tills and Richard Burke. But something recently was passed, and they're going to send it to the president's office to try to get it executed. This was on the 26th of February. This is the HR 35. So the HR 35 is the Emmett Till Anti-Lynching Act. It's basically stating that it's a long overdue legislation that will make lynching a hate crime.
Yeah, we talked about that.
Under the federal law. It also mentions that at least 4,700 people, predominantly African Americans, were reported lynched in the United States between 1882 and 1968. And the real sad part about it is 99% of these perpetrators escaped from any type of punishment.
Right.
So nobody was never held accountable for these lynchings and the things that they did. But for this particular bill to try to get it passed, I mean, again, you have the capability to kind of reach out to say that you do support this bill being passed, having lynching, which is so many years old. Now they're trying to make it a hate crime. But these are different ways that we can kind of speak out, make sure our voice is heard, so we can really try to stop these atrocities.
And I believe they did pass it, but the sad part about it was it wasn't unanimous.
Right.
So that means that there were a few people who voted against it, who still believe that we should be getting lynched. Vote out for that. And we're talking about the same subject? Zani? Talking about the same subject? I'm sorry, India?
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
My sad part is that the person died.
We lost their life. And it's still happening. And, you know, an elder told me one time, you know, because I see it every day. I have students who are incarcerated because they committed murder. And then when that person comes to jail, then for whatever reason, because this happened, for whatever reason, they actually get, you know, a little bit of time in jail, and then they get out on the streets, and not too long after, you hear that they got killed. So it's like a domino effect. And the elder told me, he said, yeah, they're going to kill off each other, you know? That's how we're going to get all of these quote-unquote thugs off the street, because they're going to kill off each other. Because you believe it or not, there's a lot of, you think that you will be in jail and things will be okay. There's more fights in jail than it is on the street.
Yeah.
They have more beef in jail than they do because they can. Students go to jail because they find out that the person that they want to beat up or kill is in jail, so they do something just so they can go to jail to meet up with this person. And it happens every day. And sure enough, they get to my class or other classes. One guy, I'm telling you, I was standing in the classroom. Now this guy that's in the classroom already, he's known for, you know, doing heinous crimes, and he'll throw his own friends under the bus. Like he can be, you know, like me and Maurice Schumer, we think, you know, I'm thinking he's cool with me, and he'll say, no, he did it. Cohen Shake did it. And I'll go to jail. And he's sitting in the classroom, and a guy walked into the class, and he was like, yo, a fight was about to break out. And he just stood up because he knew everybody's after me because I done put so many people under the bus. And the officer just grabbed him because it was about to go down. I'm sitting there like, what just happened? Because it really would have gotten crazy in there. And he just stood up like, I'm ready. And he sat back down after the officer took the other guy. I said, what was that all about? He said, it's just how it is, man. People are after me. And I got to be ready at all times. That's how they living, man. Now he's in jail. Imagine if he gets on the street now. He's going to be walking like this every day of his life. Sad. It's just sad what's going on. That's why we ask, we try to tell our youth, listen, you think that you're missing out on certain things? The fun that these people are doing now, that ain't fun. I remember fun for us. I mean, come on, there was so many. First of all, we didn't have cell phones. We went outside. We played dodgeball, kickball, baseball, stickball. We freeze tag. I even jump rope with some of the girls. I haven't seen double dutch in a long time. You understand?
Gum.
All of these things.
That's what y'all
What do they do now? They're like this in the house. Dinner time. The plate is right there in front of them. What kind of life is that? We played, hide and go seek. Nobody plays that anymore. Green light 1, 2, 3. Simon Says. You know what we need to do? We need to have a day where we can bring back these old games and show these young people how to do it. What about what happened? Settle down. Remember when you were little and you'd be walking with your friend and you just said, out of the blue, I'll race you, and we just start running. What happened to all of those games? Tag, all of these things. They forgot about all of these games that we used to play. That's the fun that we had. And guess what? When there was a fight, they didn't have what they doing today. We didn't do all of that. And when you fought the person. If you had to take a loss, the next day you was dapping up the guy who you beat up or he beat you up, because it could have gone both ways. It was over. We dapped it up. The next day, I had a black eye. He had a black eye. Yo, what's going on? Everything's tough. Everything's good. And we be going down the. Okay, let's put what we getting ourselves into today. It wasn't like today. They start robbing people, stealing cars, all of these things. What's going on in the world today? This generation, boy, they say it's the death generation. And that's exactly what it is. We don't want you all to be a part of that. We got to go back to this. When the Atari games and Sega games came out, we was excited, but these things are taking over us now. And then there's so much things down, social media. Everybody's putting their business on social media. It's like a soap opera now. You just watch stuff. You can just watch people having a fight and just sit down in your bed and watch it on the phone now. It's just crazy. We don't want to be a part of that mess. It's just too much. So what are we gonna do? We just have to teach our children, My children, they get mad at me. I tell them about old stories, man. Because I grew up in the PJs. Everybody knows what that is. Some of you all, projects. And we were poor, I tell them all the time, man, ain't nothing like beans and rice. I tell you what my father told me. We used to complain. Oh my goodness, we having beans and rice again. He fixed us the next day. What'd he do? Rice over beans. He said, y'all want to play games with me? Because that taught us a lesson. Because everybody know my Abba, he didn't play no games. You complaining about beans and rice? Okay. He put the rice over the beans. And he said, now, what you gonna do? And that was the last time we complained about food, because his message to us was, at least you're eating. At least you got a meal. That was the message. People complain about it. To this day, I can't get over beans and rice. I love it. Right. Love it. Black eyed peas and rice. Oh my goodness. Please don't get me started, man. So many things, man. And that goes back to what we were speaking about earlier about not eating out and stuff. We all do it, but we have to now try to limit ourselves and limit, how much we go out and things. Cook at home, I mean, the best food is cooked at home. Your pancakes, your French toast, grits, eggs, all those things, man. Codfish and bakes, depending on where you're at, in the world. All these things. It's good. The cereals that we're eating, that they selling in the supermarkets, you got to be careful about those too. What happened to Wheatina? And what's the other one? Farina. All those things are good for you. Cream of wheat. All these things. And are we taking our vitamins? Are we drinking water? Are we drinking a lot of soda? Cut that soda out. That stuff is not good for you. Trust me. It's not good for you. All right? So, just a word to the wise. Got to go back to basics. Go back to basics, Israel. All the foods that we're eating, we can make our own burgers, right? We can make our own, fry our own fish, fry our own chicken. All these things, Because the world we live in, it programs us to be running all the time, so we don't have time to cook at home. So the first thing to do is so convenient is do what? Let's stop at so-and-so and get some fried chicken, Because we don't have time to fry it. So that's what we got to do. Got to go back to basics. Stop eating out. Make your own food. Make your own cakes and things like that. It's dangerous out there. So we're going to close out. We want to thank the Creator for a beautiful day. We want to thank the Creator for allowing us to have food. We had a beautiful breakfast this morning. And may the Most High God bless you. Hallelujah. We're going to ask Mishade Yaakov to close us out. And because the sun is going down, the sun is gone. This is the time where they will be offering up the offering. Hallelujah.
And all this extra stuff.
We had so much to take in today. Let's take out this day with the prayer, sacrifices, and meal offerings.
Sacrifices and meal offerings are not found in our hands. Father of mercy, yet thy law standeth firm. Accept the words of our lips and the murmurs of our hearts. Receive our prayers in mercy and in favor. Grant us joy and gladness. Comfort thy people. Yehovah answer thee in the day of trouble. The name of the power of Israel set thee up on high. Draw us not away, Yah, with the wicked, for our delight is in thy word. Let thy word heal us and cause us to prosper. Cause thy wisdom to blanket Israel. Let the visions of the righteous be our lot. Yea, even the dreams of our redeemed, our good fortune. Draw us with cords of love and let our borders be true. Into thy hand I commit my spirit. All praise unto thee, O Yah. We have thought of thy loving kindness. We rejoice in the house of Yah. Come behold the works of Yah and rejoice in the same. For he has rescued his people Israel. He has called forth the dispersed of Yaakov. He caused his righteousness to stand where calamity was. For such is our power forever and ever. He will be our God henceforth eternally. Sing his praises aloud.
Amen. Shema. Shema.
Israel.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Praise you, Yah, our King, the one who allowed us to enjoy this day in peace and security from all hurt and harm, all danger and seen and unseen. We thank you for the knowledge and the understanding that we have gained from the beginning of the day to now. All of those who spoke and who encouraged us with words of wisdom, we ask that we would have a special blessing for their participation in this service. And we ask that it would be your will that you would guide us, protect us as we go back into the regular days of the week from illness, from disaster, and even allow us to also be protected from layoffs, protected from dropped accounts and lost customers as well. Allow us to be blessed with the comfort of knowing we are moving forward in life, that our children are moving forward in school as they are moving faster and faster towards the end of their school year, that we would be able to get raises and new accounts and all of the things that we're looking for and achieving things that will allow us to be more and more stable, one generation after the next. We also humbly ask that you would forgive us for our sins, as we heard about the Kohanim themselves needing 7 days to be prepared to constantly, every day, having a Yom Kippur to get themselves ready for their service, that we also need that kind of weekly and daily forgiveness from you, O Yah, and strength to be able to make what is the right decision, not only in terms of morality, but also in terms of our life choices, our choices as adults and children, as parents and as grandparents, that we would do things that are right in your sight. We also ask you to strengthen and lift up our Kohen Sadok in his time of need, O Yah. Please even strengthen him and his family, as well as the families of the elders who have been recuperating at this time, including, of course, our beloved Ima Nakweva and her family and the extended family, the families, Ima Yadira, and so many of the elder women of Israel and elder men of Israel, as they see yet another year of life, O Yah. Please continue to allow them to enjoy these holy seasons that are coming up, allow them to be strengthened, and allow them to see the generations that are beneath them, O Yah, that look up to them. And please, O Yah, allow us to see all of each other in safety and peace in the week to come. Blessed be your name, now and forevermore. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Baruch Yehovah Baboker, Baruch Yehovah B'Tzoraim, Baruch Yehovah B'Erev, Baruch Yehovah B'Layla, Baruch Yehovah Yom Yom, Baruch Yehovah Tzamid, Yehovah Eloheinu B'Chusha, לשלוח לנו לכל דברים רעים שעשינו לפניך היום, להיות עמנו כל הלילה הזה, למען שמך יהוה, אלוהי אברהם, יצחק וישראל, אלוהי אבותינו אלי, לשמוע קולנו, אם תרצה אותך, למען שמך יהוה. Blessed be Yehovah in the morning, blessed be Yehovah in the afternoon. Blessed be Yah in the evening, and blessed be Yah at night. Blessed be Yah every day, and blessed be Yah always. Yehovah our Elohim, please forgive us for all evil things we have done, and be with us all this night for thy name's sake, Yah, the Elohim of Abraham, Isaac, and Israel, Elohim of our fathers, and my Elohim, hearken unto my voice, and pray thee, if it pleaseth thee, for thy name's sake. Amen. Hallelujah.
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 O Shema
Yisrael, Yahovah Eloheinu, Yahovah Eloheinu, Yahovah Eloheinu, Shema Yisrael, Yahovah Eloheinu, Eloheinu, Yahovah
יברכך יהוה וישמרך. Ya'ir Yehovah panayo alecha vekunecha. Yisa Yehovah panayo alecha veyasim lecha shalom. Yehovah bless thee and keep thee. Yehovah cause his face to shine upon you and be gracious unto you. Yehovah lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. Hallelujah.
Sing Psalm 150. In the official services, the last psalm in the book.
Hallelujah. 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 Hiya. 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 Yahoo.